What's up guys, it's James from FishStakes and we are finally back on Flight Sim. Just want to say off the bat that the tutorials will be returning shortly once things calm down from the new year. But I did want to jump on Flight Sim and I did want to give you guys a video. So, bit of a new series that I'm thinking about starting. We're going to start taking a look at some of the packs that are available in the store. So, you guys know me, you know I love Japan. So we're going to kick things off with the Tokyo Landmarks Enhanced Pack. If there's anything in the store that you'd like to take a deeper look at, similar to how we're going to do in this video, then do let us know in the comments below and we will add it to the list and try and get around to it for you. That could be anything in the Flight Sim store, so it could be planes, it could be liveries, it could be airports. Today we're looking at the Tokyo Landmarks Enhanced Pack from Samsung 3D. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we kick things off here in Odaiba with Fuji TV. So, on the list, this is down as Fuji TV and surrounding buildings with PBR handcrafted night effects. Now, PBR is physically based rendering, which, to my understanding, means that the objects react with light within the world, so in real time. So, for example, reflections. In fact, I would imagine this dome is part of that at the top here. So as you can see, the sun there between the sun, so the sun is sort of inside a cloud there. So let's take a look. Yep, sun in the cloud. So that's real-time reflection on the dome there. But obviously the building itself is a pretty unique looking building, which I imagine is why they've decided to include it in this pack. And it does mention that the surrounding buildings have also been rendered out in 3D, so you can see this building, these two buildings here, and I would assume these buildings along this side as well. And it does state that there are nighttime effects, so we'll take a quick look at what those nighttime effects are. So here we are at nighttime. You actually get a really cool view of the Tokyo skyline there. You can see the Skytree in the background, and you can see the Tokyo Tower there as well. More on those later, but we can see we've got all the lights on the building lit up, and a really cool area of Tokyo actually. This area of Tokyo is probably as close as you'll get to a sort of seaside vibe within Tokyo itself. Some of my favourite places, you've got Tokyo Joy Palace, which is a really cool arcade. Diver City, as we can see here, shopping centre, and there's actually, in real life, a Gundam outside Diver City. I'm not sure if it is in this. Oh my god, there it is! Wow, it's lit up as well. I did not know this was in here. This must be part of this pack. I wouldn't imagine this is in the game base, but this is not mentioned on their list. But this is the Unicorn Gundam outside Diver City. This is actually here in real life. And yeah, I'm really surprised that it's in the game. I was not expecting to see that here. So there is a Gundam in this pack, but there'll be more on that later. This is not that Gundam, but I can't imagine this is in the base game. This must also be part of this pack. So there it is, guys. We've got the Unicorn Gundam in Tokyo. You can see it sort of eclipses these trees. This thing is absolutely huge in real life. This is probably an accurate scale looking up at it. Wow, this is so cool. I did not think this was going to be in here. So we've got the Unicorn Gundam, and then just behind him, we've got the Fuji TV building as #1 on our list. So the next thing we're going to check out is Tokyo Tower, which again has been completely sculpted and added back into the game, and it is complete with PBR nighttime effects and lighting. High quality handcrafted Tokyo Tower with night effect, as well as the temple's landmark in front of the tower. So presumably this is the temples that they've sculpted in as well. So these are all really cool to see. I'm wondering if these are lit up because they did mention the night effect. Obviously you can see this has been 3D sculpted itself, really well done, nice and clean in comparison to the buildings surrounding it. Nicely sculpted. There's the top viewing platform there. It looks really small on here, but I can assure you human people can stand in there. I have done so myself. It's a shame that there's no sort of rendering inside. Ooh, you can pop inside though. So these are the views that you'd actually get from Tokyo Tower. That's pretty cool, but I won't waste too much time on that. Let's take a look at these nighttime effects. So this is the tower lit up at nighttime. Pretty cool, standard lighting, nothing too fancy going on here, but of course It is accurate to real life, nothing too crazy. It's not like the Skytree, which we can see in the distance there. We'll be coming to shortly. I think the Gundam still tops it for me so far as my favourite thing in this pack, but we move on to the Skytree. I thought it was worth noting as I do fly towards the Skytree that a lot of these buildings you'll see around Tokyo, they've got the PBR effects on them, a lot of reflections on the glass and stuff like that. That's happening in real time. All of that has been added as part of this pack as well, so the Tokyo skyline itself as a whole has been massively enhanced. For example, the building to our right there, you can see the real-time reflection of the light on the glass there. And we're just coming up to one now. You can see the reflections to our right. Look at that glass. I mean, it looks really, really good. Obviously, just as you're flying past, you can imagine that as you're soaring over Tokyo with all these different buildings. Really, really cool, and all part of this pack as well. So I believe they've built out the shopping mall beneath it as well, which is a really cool place to go if you are ever visiting Tokyo. If you're interested in Studio Ghibli, there's actually a store dedicated to all that stuff just beneath the Skytree. So, as with Tokyo Tower, the whole thing has been sculpted from the ground up and then placed back in the game, replacing the structure that is there in the base game. Now, this one is really cool. This is probably one of the best things, one of the best additions to this pack. Not only for the sculpture, but the nighttime lighting obviously looks awesome with all the different colours on it, and really stands out. Sets a big focal point on the Tokyo skyline. The sculpt itself is amazing. You can see all the detail in there and the lattice work even right up to the top there. I wonder if we can pop inside this one just like we could with the tower. I bet we can. Let's go up to the top viewing platform. Yep, we can pop inside. So this is actually one of the viewing platforms. Incredibly, it does actually look like this inside. I mean, there's not much in there apart from looking out of the windows, but it's really cool that you can sort of come inside and look through there and see the sort of sights that you would actually see from the Skytree. I do like that. You can call it a clipping issue if you like, but I actually think it really adds to it. So this structure just beneath the Skytree is the mall that they recently added in to the update, and there are a few clipping issues with trees clipping through it, but I imagine those trees are in the base game where the mall doesn't exist, and they've sort of had to layer them all over the top. But of course, once you're up in the air flying over this thing, these are the sort of small details you're not really going to notice for what it is. It's nice to have it in the game. So the next addition to this pack is quite a big one. It is the entire Ikebukuro area within Tokyo, which for some reason, base game Flight Sim just doesn't cover this area at all. So they've gone in and sort of fleshed this area out, added some of the buildings that you would expect to see in Ikebukuro. Because Flight Sim doesn't cover it properly, this is not the most detailed area, as you can see by the roads, pretty bland and dead. This building here is Sunshine City, which is one of my favourite places in Tokyo, so I'm really glad that they added in Ikebukuro. If you're a Pokemon fan, this building in particular is a pretty special one because it houses the biggest and best Pokemon Center in all of Japan. So I would say if you care about your realism, then this is a pretty important feature to have if you're planning on flying over Japan, doing a few flights here and there over Tokyo. Then you're going to want to get this pack just for the fact that it adds this area back in, and it'll give you that sort of sense of realism that you would get flying over Japan. So this is Shinjuku. The main thing they did here was they fleshed out a ton of the buildings. They gave them those PBR lighting effects with the realistic reflections and stuff like that on the windows, and we're flying past a bunch of these buildings now. All of these taken out and sculpted in. You've got the Shinjuku government building just here as well, and I believe that's even got nighttime lighting effects on that as well. So we will take a look at some of this stuff at nighttime in just a second. But I do just want to get a nice overview of the Shinjuku area and some of the buildings. There's the clock tower we'll fly past. Again, you can see the reflection on some of these taller buildings here. Shinjuku National Gardens, and of course the clock tower. Very cool. So at night time we get a really good look at some of the lighting effects that they've put into the Shinjuku area. We can see the government building here lit up with the blue light, and surrounding buildings have all got those PBR lighting effects on them. whole Shinjuku area looks really, really cool at nighttime, all lit up. So one of the things in the list of updates was that they added realistic nighttime effects to some of the billboards, and you're seeing a lot of that here now with within the Shinjuku area. All of these billboards here have been lit up for nighttime. It just really adds to the area, makes it look realistic. Shinjuku is my favorite area in Tokyo anyway, and the job that they've done to it in this pack is just absolutely perfect. It just makes me feel like I'm back. You can see the billboards here as we come into the Ikebukuro area, all lit up. It's just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, the Shinjuku area is definitely one of the highlights for me. This is my favorite place to hang out, Ikebukuro. Some of the curry houses and the arcades here. We've got the Taito Station arcade. It's just so cool. I absolutely love this area and the job they've done with this pack. We come into the Ikebukuro area here. Look at these billboards all lit up. Just really gives you that Tokyo vibe. And while we're here, the Godzilla head should be just down here, so we'll take a look at that as well. So in real life, this does actually light up at night time. There's a blue light in his mouth that glows. They've not added that in, which is a little bit of a disappointment. But because of that, I will switch to daytime just to give you a better look at the Godzilla head. But before we do, just one last look at the Shinjuku skyline with all of its lights in all of its glory, all of the billboards lit up. Really, really awesome. That just over there is the Shinjuku train station, which they also have fleshed out and added all of the bits and bobs that make it look just like it does in real life. We will go and take a look at that in a second, but let's check out this Godzilla head really quickly. So there we go, there's the Godzilla head at daytime. You can see the details on that a little better. This is actually a hotel and a cinema just here in real life. So this is Shinjuku station with all the correct branding assets on it and everything like that. Just really adds to the area, to be completely honest. If you've been to Japan and this is one of your favorite places to fly around in flight sim, you really are going to appreciate this pack. I cannot stress just how good of a job they've done of the Shinjuku area in particular. Just really makes it feel like it is in real life. I feel like I'm back when I'm playing this, and in these pandemic times it is honestly a huge boost, because I cannot wait to get back to Japan. Again, we can see the PBR effects on this building here, the reflections. You can see the skybox reflected in the building. Very cool. Even got the reflection of the clock tower there. All of these are additions from the pack that absolutely just make this whole Tokyo experience that little bit better. So I'm just soaring my way over to Tokyo Dome now, and I believe they've added some surrounding buildings to the dome area, so we're gonna maybe see a few of them as we're on our way towards Tokyo Dome. Okay, so this is Tokyo Dome and the dome area, and I'm starting to see a few things that I have added in with this pack now, but before we go over that, let's just cover the basics. Tokyo Dome, it's a sports arena. They play a lot of baseball in there, and they do a lot of the big concerts. You know, if you're playing Tokyo Dome, then you are killing it out in Tokyo, put it that way. So this area is called Tokyo Dome City. You can obviously see the roller coaster there, the Ferris wheel, all of that. So it is an amusement park. And I believe that this is what they're talking about when they say surrounding area they've built up. So we've got the Ferris wheel and we have got the roller coaster from Dome City, all of which has been sculpted and added back into the game, as you can see. Obviously, once you're up in the air, that really adds to it and makes all the difference. The track of the roller coaster even goes through the hole in the building, which is what it does in real life. So really happy that has been added in. So nothing to really write home about in terms of lighting at the amusement area. I was hoping that the Ferris wheel would be lit up and we might get some really cool colours going on, because it is an amusement area, as I said, in real life, and at night time it is all lit up, including the rides. So one of the things on the list was handcrafted Senji Temple and the hotel building with PBR textures. Now I can only assume this is the area that they mean, which I've always known as the Sensoji Temple. But this certainly looks like it's been crafted in far more detail than its surrounded area, so I'm pretty sure this is where they mean. There's even a couple of people pasted on the side of this one, which is really cool. If you're one of them, shout out to you, because I assume that's a real photo that they've pasted on there. So we've got the Sensoji Temple, and presumably the Asakusa View Hotel is the hotel that they're talking about with the PBR textures. So on closer inspection of Asakusa View Hotel, we can see the PBR textures, lighting effects on the glass here. As we come down the building, you can see the skybox being reflected in the building. So this is certainly the hotel they were talking about, which means that that is definitely also the temple. So here we are at the world famous Shibuya crossing, and one of the things they added in this pack is a bunch of the mission buildings and more realistic textures to the Shibuya area. We can see already here the animated billboards all around. There's even a little Pikachu on that one when it pops up. There he is. And we've even got tower records there in the background, which is really cool. I am curious to see what this area looks like at night time, so let's check that out. Fairly well lit up at night time, looks pretty cool, and we can definitely see the PBR lighting effects on certain buildings. Definitely worth coming and checking out the Shibuya area if you do get this pack. Yoyogi Park is looking pretty cool and well lit up there in the background as well. The rest of the additions I thought were fairly minimal. Some additional cargo areas at the Haneda airport, as well as ships around the Tokyo Bay area. So we are going to finish up with the final thing, something a little bit special. We're heading over to Yokohama. We are outside Tokyo now in the Yokohama area, and even though this is a Tokyo pack, they did add something special in as a bonus that we're going to take a look at now. So just beneath us is the Gundam factory at Yokohama. As a little bonus, they have added in this animated Gundam. It's here in real life, it's animated in real life, and now it's also animated in the game. Really cool addition. Interestingly, the Gundam we saw at the start of this video in Diver City actually replaced this Gundam. So this Gundam used to be outside Diver City. It was then moved over here to Yokohama, where they got it all animated. And you can come and see this in real life. It is absolutely massive, and it does actually move and light up at night time. In fact, let's take a look at this at night time and just see if it does light up. So the area itself is lit up, but no lights on this one, unfortunately. But that's okay. Let's remember, it is a little bonus in the pack. It is outside Tokyo, but a very, very cool addition. So that's it for the Tokyo Landmarks Enhanced Pack. My personal highlight was the Shinjuku area. Let me know in the comments what you enjoyed. And don't forget to let us know if there's anything else in the store you'd like us to take a look at. Pop it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the list. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Matare!